The galaxy is burning. Brother fights brother, and treason splits the Imperium of man. This is the Age of Darkness. Welcome to the Remembrancers retreat, coming to you from within the depths of the vengeful spirit.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Remembrancers Retreat, a Warhammer 30k Horus Heresy podcast. My name is Jesse. I'm here today with
Steven.
And
Austin.
Yeah, we
also-
got it.
Hey!
Finally. Really. It was the panicked look in his eyes that
Not pointing.
that was a way better
it
cue
wasn't
than
panic.
pointing
It was
ever
more like,
was.
am I going to point? Am I not going to point?
I was panicking. I didn't want to get pointed at.
I was also panicking a little bit.
Yeah. I grew up with two brothers. Pointing is very it panics me. I don't like it. It makes me nervous.
I'm sorry. I'll be sure not to do that anymore in the future.
I don't want to say it's offensive, but I was triggered. I had sudden memories of who broke the lamp.
Steven did.
No, it wasn't me. I got blamed
Obviously.
for it, though.
I don't know whoever got pointed at broke the lamp. Anyway, this week, Plastic Spartan.
Woo!
What a
Get
time to be
excited.
alive. We got a plastic Spartan before we got a plastic Deimos. How about that?
That's true.
Truly, the world just mocks you.
Every time that a new box set came out, a new big announcement, it was, oh, maybe this is a good lead up to plastic Legion vehicles. Maybe we're going to get a plastic Deimos Rhino finally. Forge World heard us and said, nah.
Not even that.
Got something better for you, though.
But when the Sisters of Battle came out,
Yeah.
everyone
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, man, that's going to be a plastic Demos, and it's going to be super easy to... What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, it's great for word bearers.
It is.
Got those super cool stacks on the sides.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, but,
But now, a vehicle for the whole family.
yep. And then some.
Yep. Your extended family as well.
Uh-huh. And their families and their dogs' families.
Mm.
Bulky models included.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Apparently also known as the Land Raider Spartan, which I don't know how to feel about.
That's the
I mean,
way it is now.
that's been
you know?
a thing for quite a while.
Has it?
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yep. Yep. Land Raider Spartan. You know it. You love it. It's the big boy of tanks. It's the Primarch Party Posse Bus.
Yep. The Big Land Raider, as
Yep.
people sometimes refer to it.
Now holding 26.
Yeah. 26 Legionnaires or 13 Terminators.
All right. So call me crazy, but it actually looks like it's going to be smaller than the resin one. It looks shorter, judging from the picture on Warcom.
It's really hard to say.
It's hard to say, and that driver might be throwing you off too if he's been embiggened.
The flank just looks it looks very, very similar to the Phobos, which I guess if they're going to call it the Land Raider Spartan, that makes sense.
Mhm.
And I've only held an actual Spartan once or twice in my hands for all the time that I've spent playing this game.
I turned the volume down there. There we go. Anyway, go ahead.
But that thing is that's long. It's the anaconda of tanks.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
It's like a dachshund.
Pulling up the
with
video right now.
treads.
It shows side by side with some models here in a
great.
second. So you can probably get a little
Mm-hmm.
verification.
Look at him.
Yeah, and can we
Look at him.
Yeah.
can we also talk about how you can put 10 las cannons on it?
It's a
Yeah.
lot of las
10
cannons.
las cannons.
That's a lot of las cannons.
There you go.
That's
That's
so much
probably-
anti-tank.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what you could do with the, well, not 10, but you could do triple las cannon on the Land Raider Proteus.
You could, but with the Land Raider Proteus,
I'm wondering if you could do the same thing with the Phobos now.
Can you put a quad lascan on a?
No, you had twin linked, regular twin linked las cannons, but you
Yeah.
could replace the pintle mounted heavy bolter with a hull mounted las cannon.
yeah,
You
but
have 3 las cannons.
3 las cannons, at least in the current edition, wasn't going to guarantee you the kill.
Mhm.
This
10
thing
definitely will though. Yeah.
because you can replace. So you've got the 2 quads, and then you can replace the hull mounted heavy bolter with another twin linked las cannon,
Mhm.
and that's just kind of your anti-tank for a small
Not
medium
gonna lie,
game. Yeah,
seems pretty rude.
And-
Yeah, the only thing is that that's 10 las cannons at one target. You can't split fire.
you can't. But also,
No, keep saying 10. It's not 10.
10 individual shots, right?
Right.
It's going to be
2 quads
2 quads, which
and
is
a
going to be
twin linked. Will be
So you get
3, 4 for the whole.
Three-
You get 5 shots if you
Yeah,
have.
five shots. It'll be 5 shots with the las cannon.
I think
Re-rolling most of those, all of those.
making assumptions.
Yeah, making assumptions. And that will, I think, reliably kill most things that
Anything
are
that doesn't
Spartan.
anything that doesn't die is definitely going to be shaken.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like that because it looks like from the pictures, this is going to be in some sort of starter kit, or at least whatever Grandmaster box equivalent is coming out.
Boy, I hope not. I don't want to help Jared with his lawn. I've seen it.
Right.
I flew too close to the sun on that one.
Yeah, you did.
But because I think we've all seen the rumors. It's like, oh, it's going to be a bunch of infantry and a plastic Spartan and all this, that, and the other thing. And I really like this as a starter tank because, like, there's going to be some Terminators. You can throw the Terminators in there. You know, you buy your Primarch because you're excited to start your new Legion for the new edition. You throw him in there. And then you got some tacticals to round out the troop choices. And this thing is your anti-tank. Just that thing. Don't need another.
Anti most things, really.
Yeah, don't need another one in 1500.
Yeah, those are
Also-
who cares if your Terminators have 2 wounds now? Suck 8 las cannons.
Right? Fuck
Instant
that guy.
death.
Yeah. Speaking of this, we're looking at a screenshot from the video where it shows the Terminators and the Mark 6 and everybody just crowded around the Spartan. The Mark 6 doesn't look as tall and stupid high as everyone was scared about.
Oh yeah, dang. He's
that Mark
like
6
half
is-
the height of the Spartan.
Yeah, that Mark 6, the tallest one that I see is a guy who's, striding up in the middle and he's, walking, and he's in a definitely heightened stance. But if you look at the guy right behind him who's in the standard Space Marine,
kind of crouch, combat crouch.
he's barely standing next to height of the Cataphracti Terminator, which looks like the old kit. So looks like he's about the same size.
Wait.
as-
Did the old Cataphracti Terminator kit come with chain fists?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
No, these guys, as seemingly the sane half of the internet was saying, were scaled towards the Chaos Marines, the new Chaos Marines, which are bigger than, our Mark 3s and 4s, but not egregiously so.
They're still smaller than Primaris.
Yeah, they're
too.
smaller than Primaris. I wouldn't mix them in squads, but I wouldn't feel bad about having a squad of like those Chaos Marines and a squad of my Mark 3 and 4 running around on the same army doing things.
I don't know. Worst comes to worst, you can always put like a little green stuff around the torso if necessary. I don't know if these guys are snap fit or not.
Classic GW, put them on a rock.
Exactly. Get your Mark III. You can just get a thin tactical rock.
Yep.
A couple, like a millimeter thick. And then suddenly,
tactical slate.
then you're just, exactly.
Go
then
rip the bark off all the trees outside.
Then he's running right alongside head height with the rest of his squad.
But yeah, that tank is huge compared to them, which Land Raiders and Rhinos have always been kind of small given the scale of the game, 28 millimeter scale has never been perfect for Games Workshop, such as life, but that Spartan is just gigantic.
It real is. But also,
which might be why, so I said it looks a little shorter than it originally did. It actually looks really similar in my mind to a Land Raider Proteus. It's just big, blocky. It's got bigger las cannons, but that height is just insane.
yeah, you could stand 2 of these new Mark 6s on top of each other, and I'm not entirely sure they would clear the Land Raider.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Hefty kit,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it. It's probably going to be like $110 on its own,
They'll have a hefty price tag too.
but
Hey, we get some new.
Still cheaper than a resin one, that's for sure. 'Cause I think they're running like, what, 200 now
have
or something
no idea.
stupid?
So I found one at a local game store and asked the guy how much he wanted for it, and he said 150. But he looked on eBay to figure out like what the going price for them was, 300 plus.
Really?
oof.
There was one.
now-
they got rid of the...
There was one listing that was $700.
Holy shit.
And if you happen to be listening and you've listed a Spartan for $700 on eBay, I'm not telling you not to. But like, why?
Steven thinks you're kind of a bad person.
eBay, right?
Look,
you can
try-
set whatever price you want, and you can't force anyone to buy it.
It's true. Trying to get that mom, man. That desperate mom. Timmy wants a Spartan. Bam. Desperate girlfriend.
$700. Yeah.
Yeah. I've cheated on him again. Got to bring home something good.
Yeah.
Bam.
Mom, no.
All right. Okay, eBay seller, I see you now. You have Austin to thank.
Yes, right? He's just punishing people for their sins. Or she. Could be a she.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? non-binary.
But I really like the back of this Mark II and the Mark II in general. Can I pause to talk about this Mark II?
It's a Mark II.
How fucking exciting is this? One, his back is really cool because he doesn't have a backpack, which is canonical because Marines traditionally are hardwired, like their suits are powered by their vehicle, right? So they don't have the backpack. They're just supposed to have something that kind of plugs them into the engine.
Yeah.
And I've never seen it done like this. Like there's an actual like clamp with wires coming out of his back that runs down into the hatch, which is amazing.
Yeah, the parts that are produced now just kind of have a tiny little bit of detail on the back to suggest that like there's a cable there.
Yeah, it's like just enough that you don't accidentally try and put
ugly.
a backpack on it. Yeah.
They don't look great.
They're not fan. This is amazing.
Yeah, what I would like to know about this this Mark II dude here, who is just living his best life with his big old iPad, is where is his waist connected? Because like obviously you don't have to build the guy sitting up in the hatch. That's a free true scale Mark II dude right there.
Well, traditionally, a Marine like tank crew is either kind of shoulders and head onto the thing that sits in the hatch, or like here you can see a bit of his back legs.
Yeah.
And normally it's the upper part of the legs and then a waist joint. And that sits in, and then you have like the top half of a Marine that you build separately and put on. So if that's what that is, then yeah, you got a free half of a true scaled Mark II.
I do have to say what's kind of hilarious to me about him is that in this same shot you can get an idea of the width of the opening that dude fits through, and
he's only coming in through.
There's
the top.
no way he's going to get back in the tank. His shoulders are wider than the opening of the tank.
He just goes sideways, and just straight down.
He's too big.
Nope, I think he's just halfway on top. Is like, all right, let's go.
Takes his shoulder pads off and goes in. It's like
he goes hull down in the cupola. And
I
think
the
spins the hatch around and uses it as a shield.
I think the servitor just reaches up behind and just slaps the power pack on. It's like, all right, good to go.
But I really like this, not least because plastic Mark II, and hopefully a sign of things to come.
It's got a headlight now too.
Yeah, and I just love that because Mark II would be the natural next
searchlight.
step,
Excuse me.
Right? We've got plastic 3 and 4. They're not the right size, presumably, but they work.
Yeah.
And now you can just plastic 6s, do the whole range of 6, and give me like Mark II tactical Marines and like maybe a heavy weapon upgrade sprue.
There's an interesting detail. Another interesting detail on that Marine there is this is a really obscure armor fact for you, but Mark II armor is the only power armor mark where you can't turn your head. You're just looking straight ahead. And they've got a little bit of bracing on the back of his neck.
Yeah.
That kind of makes it look like that's likely.
You can't turn your head.
Yeah, that guy can't turn his head. He's just looking around inside the helmet.
Like old Batman Begins.
They may have retconned that. Because that used to be true of 2 and 3. And I know they retconned it for 3. I don't know if they've...
It's hard to say.
They've changed their mind about if Mark II can look sideways or not, but I think so.
I appreciate the detail either way.
I do like it. I mean, at the very least, it's a callback to when that was the way it is.
Yeah, when that was the way.
Yeah, when it was the way. I have spoken. It's just a really pretty kit.
I sure hope those treads are molded onto one piece because I still don't want to put treads on.
No, I would guess it's like the Lehman Russ now, where it's just one big piece across every main arc, and then like that where it kind of curves.
You get like 2 or 3
be
pieces.
1 or 2, either a
segments.
1 2-piece or 2 1-pieces. They kind of attach it all together.
Yeah. Looking forward to getting some Land Raider doors for that thing, making a word bearer Spartan.
I really wish they had an interior shot though. That's my one complaint because I'm not the kind of guy that models his doors to open. So anything from inside a tank just becomes Necromunda bits.
Gotcha.
Fair. So I'm really excited to see what stuff is going on because like the Land Raider kit has like a whole friggin' engine block, which is amazing for stuff.
Yeah.
Like who knows? Who knows what'll be in this?
So this painted one shows us with the Imperial Aquila on the side. I'm assuming it's going to be like Adeptus Titanicus, where they'll have an Imperial.
I think the article said that there's an Eye of Horus that you can put on.
That's right.
Yeah,
the other ones.
It's obviously an extra bit that goes on.
And I'm willing to bet there's going to be a blank one too.
Probably, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
you're not
no,
special anymore, Emperor's Children.
I would guess it's not a Palatine Aquila.
Yeah,
even.
so I will say, coming back to
lightning
this,
bolts.
they mentioned no. So here's the thing, and I didn't really know this until this week too, because I've always been trying to figure out what exactly constitutes a Palatine Aquila.
Is this a Palatine Aquila? No, it is not.
Okay,
Which
well,
it's very hard to really find anything on the internet that really suggests definitely whether it is or not.
I thought it was the lightning bolts that makes it the
No,
Palatine.
so apparently Andy Hoare on Instagram mentioned to somebody
Thanks, Andy Hoare.
that the Palatine Aquila is the one where the wings are swept up in like almost a circle. If you look at an Emperor's
because it's
Children,
the Emperor's sigil, not the Imperial sigil.
correct. And the Emperor's Children were the ones who were able to use it in their iconography.
Is it still double-headed?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well then.
Although I point out that after they were declared excommunicate traitores, all of their honors and whatnots were summarily revoked. So presumably other people could start using the Palatine Aquila during the heresy, besides just them.
It's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, most
Or
generally,
at
if you're
least
playing
there'd be
Horus
the
Heresy,
option for the emperor to then give it to other people.
that's a good point too. If you're playing Horus Heresy, Emperor's Children are probably traitors. So at this point, whether or not they actually have the Palatine Aquila and others don't really doesn't matter. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, deep thoughts. Deep thoughts.
Yeah. Emperor's like, no. Let him have it.
No, it's fine.
But anyway,
How dare you disrespect the traitorous emperor's children by...
Interestingly enough, this video also gives us a few more shots of the Mark 6 dudes with more of their bits on them, like their pistol holsters and like pouches and stuff, and those some pretty cool little pistol bits.
Yeah. And it makes me happy. I mean, obviously we expect now GW kits to come with a pile of extra stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just nice to see them. Because honestly, I was a little worried we might not get as many pistols and all that because of all the bayonets you're having to give them.
Yeah, it's a little blurry, but it kind of looks like maybe there's this dude right here, the son of Horus in the corner, has a pistol with the eye on it.
Huh.
Maybe.
hang on.
Yeah, that guy right there.
This guy here?
Yeah. Or
I
maybe
don't think that's the eye. Like looking at it again, I think it's just the way they're painting because if you look at the guy, like there's the extra blurry guy and then another one, we say like the listeners can see all this.
Yeah.
I think that's just the way the leather trim is being painted.
maybe. Yeah, because I see the other two guys.
Yeah.
You're right. Still though.
Just watch this video on loop while you're listening to this.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Anyway,
Well-
sorry for the poor.
We'll add it into the show notes when we're
No, I won't.
when we're rewinding and to what point.
Every individual second
No, I got to go back and do
that
all
we're
that.
pausing
No.
on.
But yeah, plastic Spartan. What a time to be alive.
Good news for people who want to buy Kaistus assault rams. Eventually, those will come in plastic, presumably.
I do like that pinto mounted combi
bolter, I'm
It's
assuming.
a heavy bolter.
Heavy bolter on top.
Big old drum mag. That's a
yeah,
heavy bolter.
it's sexy, is what it is.
It's really good.
Yeah, I love me some heavy bolters.
Apparently, also have some heavy flamers for the Twin Link, which is nice because it didn't come with the kit in the resin.
I love
Yeah.
heavy bolters. It's not enough to make me ever want to play Imperial Fists, but I love a drum-fed bolter.
Almost looks like you got a transfer inside of there
A little bit like a
in the open hatch.
a hang in there poster.
Enhance.
Yeah,
Zoom and enhance.
that's as much. No, that's looks like it's molded. Oh god, no, I think that's just molded in there.
Who knows?
Not sure what it is, but
It's cool, whatever it is.
did some good weathering with the.
Imagine being the
outside.
psychopath that not only paints the inside of your tank, but weathers the inside of it.
Steven, that's why they work for Forge World and we have a podcast.
Yeah, fair point. You got to go that extra. Look,
if I was weathering the
if
inside of my
weathering the
vehicles,
inside of my tank is how I work for Games Workshop, I don't want to work for Games Workshop. There, I said it. No, sir.
Good enough for podcast work.
you heard him, Andy Hoare. You called me instead.
Hey, wait a minute.
Oh boy, exciting times. And got the little smoke launcher, searchlight.
Yeah, it's got all the niceties.
All
to
the
it.
Legion fixins. Your pickles, your tomatoes, your onions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really hope that smoke launchers and searchlights in 2.0 are, what's the word?
Worth it.
Worth it.
Usable.
Useful.
Yeah.
Usable.
Useful for anything but a rhino.
Existing.
Everybody just go flat out, pop smoke in your rhino. That is literally the only time anyone has popped smoke in Heresy 1.0 is when they've had a rhino.
I've never even gone flat out with a rhino, so.
You don't even own a rhino. I've never seen you put a model in a rhino.
Damn. I think you're right. That's crazy.
Yeah, you got 1 million dread claws, no rhino.
Why ride in a rhino when you can fly?
One of those heady times of Steven just flying around the map, just trying to burn shit with his dread claws.
Yeah, except I was playing militia, so that actually worked.
I'll just instant death this entire squad.
For Marines, it's just a waste of time. For militia, it's tragic.
It's fun.
It's 53. The Emperor regrets to inform you notes.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming we ever wrote them, which we do not.
Assuming you're even literate.
That too.
Well,
So, yeah, we'll see what comes up this week, Thursday, and what they'll reveal next.
Fingers crossed for Dreadnought.
I would like to see a Dreadnought. I would also like them to just...
Show the new tank.
I was going to say, show me a Demios Rhino,
Mm-hmm.
but in the classic, like, GW, look, so we've made this Demios Predator. And, just put this other hatch on it. It's a Rhino. What do you want?
Yeah.
That'd be convenient.
I mean, it's a plastic kit.
Demos SDC,
That's
which,
essentially what they do with the
Yeah.
Predators now. Like,
yeah, it's just
that's true.
it's just sponsons.
you can buy a Rhino, but why would you? You just buy it.
Does the Predator kit actually have that top hatch that makes you a 2 Rhino?
Well,
It's been a while since I bought
it's been a while since I bought one, but unless they've redesigned the kit, yeah.
Yeah, you buy the
That's
Predator,
why they
and it's a
stopped-
whole Rhino kit
with a
and it's got
Predator sprue. Oh, yeah,
hatch.
yeah.
It's the same thing, like with Tau, when they had whatever the Tau like missile tank is.
Yeah.
They used to sell that separate from the railgun, the Hammerhead.
Ah, okay.
But the missile tank, just because of the way the sprue was laid out, had a whole Hammerhead in it and just an extra sprue for the missiles. And now GW just kind of does that for everybody. Where it's
Gotcha.
like, hey, we sell one tank and you can do whatever you want with it. Delightful.
Kind of like what they did with the Knight Errant / Paladin or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
The oldest Knight, where they rolled it into the
Yeah. They justify
Individual
taking it from a $130 kit to a $175 kit. It's fine.
it's got everything.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It's just $45 for one more piece of sprue. It's fine.
And it's amazing because I keep finding those sprues in used model bins and they are fantastic. So think about all the spare Predator turrets that'll be running around if they did that.
just sounds like terrain to me.
Exactly.
Yep.
Siege defenses.
So that'll end our new model watch for this week. Austin, you mentioned you wanted to talk about something?
Going a little off the
Getting a
rails
little,
where your exact
historical
words.
nerd.
Just
cat
losing
on.
my fucking mind. So, and I've done this before and you're still listening. So unless this is your first episode, you've been feffing warned already. But so I was reading an article and I'm going to give a shout out. I don't know this guy. If he turns out to be a monster, it's not my fault. But there's this guy, Brett Devereaux. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. But he has this blog called A Collection of Unmitigated Pedantry. And the guy's a PhD military historian, teaches it somewhere in North Carolina. But he read.
So you could either be a super cool guy or a monster.
Yeah, he could.
No in between.
He could be a douche. He could be a great guy. I don't know. His blog, though, is amazing. It's a coop.blog, I think, or who knows. But he does a bunch of articles where he's pretty much going, hey, I'm taking all of this historical pop culture stuff, kind of Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, whatever, and kind of explaining how it's similar and different to actual history, right? He does this with like Total War games as well.
Interesting.
It's cool, but he did a thing this past Friday talking about the logistics of sci-fi warfare and how, a lot of science fiction just wildly is just wrong, just like so far off with like how things would
work.
theoretically work, how things historically work.
especially in terms of scale.
Yeah, especially in terms of scale, right?
Yeah. Now, that being so, with a disclaimer, it is science fiction, but
It is, but it's one of those things where he's like, they took Arrakis with like 300,000 troops. You can't take Ukraine with 200,000, 300,000 troops. You know what I mean? So like a whole planet, like just the numbers don't add up, right? A lot of that sort of thing.
I wish he hadn't used Dune as an example, since Arrakis effectively has like 2 population centers.
It's a whole thing. And he actually kind of says that whole thing, that as well in there. Or like the old Rogue Trader fluff, right? Where it's, they've said a regiment is always 3,000 Imperial Guardsmen, and planets are conquered by regiments of Imperial Guardsmen, like a regiment. It's just, no.
Maybe if the planet doesn't have any people on it.
Again, like, you can't take Richmond with 3,000 infantry.
Yeah. I've always thought it was funny in some of the older fluffs, it's like a company of Space Marines, which is nominally 1,000 guys?
100 guys.
100
40K,
guys.
100 guys.
Well, in the Heresy. But I mean, it was all based on Codex anyway. Anyway, so a company of Space Marines can, quote, cleanse a planet of life within 24 hours or something, within a certain window. And it's like, man, you can't even sail across the ocean in 24 hours.
Exterminatus is a hell of a drug.
This is true. The Life Eater viruses.
Yeah, but then at that point, why bother with a company of Marines?
Yeah, right?
True.
One guy with a button can do that.
Yeah.
But it did get me thinking about like 30K and the Heresy. And whatever like Rogue Trader's 80s like origins, they actually do a really good job of it in like the current Heresy era stuff and even the current 40K stuff. Like they do spend a lot of time being like, look, the guy with the gun is real important, but if he don't got no bullets, shit just don't work.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating, right? Because ostensibly, like, this is a universe where you sail through hell, magic is real, and beating someone over the head with a chainsaw is like the best mode of warfare. Right? Like,
It's among the things that are best in life.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have these genetically designed superhumans to conquer the whole galaxy. How are they doing that? Well, we've given them a lot of really cool weaponry. That's awesome. What are they like? Well... 6 million of them exclusively prefer to run up and stab you with something. That's a little weird. Yeah, a
Cool.
chainsaw.
Cool.
A chainsaw.
Yeah.
Shaped like an axe.
What? Like, it doesn't make any damn sense, which is an awesome part of the setting. But it's also cool that GW is now like talking about all of this other stuff, and it makes the whole universe more believable. Like, even when you don't know anything about like how militaries actually work or anything like that, it's just real cool. Because, for example, so like modern U.S. military, right? It's complicated.
Sure.
For every guy shooting a gun, depending on what stats you want to like believe, it takes either 8.5 dudes doing other stuff to make sure he can fire the bullets out of his gun, or like 20 dudes.
Yeah.
That's a fuck ton of people.
Yeah, I've heard of this as support, as far as like the training and the administration of the training.
Hell,
things
moving
like
bullets from point A to point B.
the logistics.
Yeah, the logistics guys and the guys that are filling out their healthcare forms and just like an insane amount of backup. It's professionally, it's called the tooth to tail ratio, right? Tooth being the guys at the sharp end doing all of the fighting, tail being everyone making sure they can do all of the fighting. And there's kind of been a trend that the tail gets bigger and bigger as like society advances, right? Roman legion,
All tooth.
all tooth,
Yeah.
all tooth all the time.
time.
You got like 5 guys in the legion that are like,
Sure.
oh yeah, I'm also a blacksmith.
Yeah, it's like once we're done here, I got to go back on the farm.
Yeah. All right.
Can we clean these barbarians up faster? I got
a
stuff to
thing,
do.
right?
the oven on.
World War I comes around. It's like 1-to-1, guy firing shell, guy carrying shell to you. And now it's just insane. So if you like project that into the future, presumably it's only going to get worse and worse as time goes on, right? Because you'll need like the guy that makes the drones and the guy that trains the drone and the guy that programs the drone and
The guy who harvests or mines the
just
minerals to make the drone.
a million fucking people required to make everything work.
Yeah.
And Games Workshop has been addressing that in really interesting ways. Not just with the Mechanicum, because obviously they do a little fighting on their own now in the fluff. But they always talk about like the Administratum or the Core Logisticae in 30K. I don't think...
Especially in Gaunt's Ghost, there's a lot of talk about like the dudes.
There's a whole problem in a Gaunt's Ghost book. I can spoil it, right? It's been
Sure.
20
Which
years.
Gaunt's Ghost book is
Hey,
it?
Guns of Tanith.
Oh, yeah, sure.
There's a whole friggin' like major subplot that goes, we all have Mark III las guns and you gave us Mark V power cells, so now we have no fucking ammunition. And they're like,
Throw them, I guess.
filing error. And they go around like, all right, everybody, you know the half clip of leftover ammo you had from last time? Congratulations. That's using this time.
Yeah. It's always amused me. There's my least favorite Black Library book, Siege of Castellax, the Iron Warriors book. Just
Rude.
the absolute worst one.
I enjoyed it.
The Iron Warriors have on the planet Castellax, they have their indentured Janissary force, basically a PDF. And at the beginning of the book, there's an orc invasion coming, so they're mobilizing the Janissaries, and half the Janissaries have las guns, half of them have auto guns, and one of the main characters gets mixed up, and he grabs an auto gun magazine for his las gun, and I'm like, why would the Iron Warriors, the logistical guys, mix and match like that? That's just silly.
The warp's a hell of a drug.
I guess so. It takes place on a Forge world. They should be able to make everything there.
You'd think, but man, life is friggin' hard, bro. Life is hard.
It's arguably the hardest thing that anyone has ever had to do. But it doesn't have to be autogun and lasgun hard. It could just be autogun hard or lasgun hard.
But is it a Mark III or a Mark V?
Who knows?
Still effed.
Should just give everybody bolters.
But anyway, the other reason I was thinking about this is because I think one of the things GW is doing with the new Necromunda stuff, and now we're way far afield,
Yeah.
is letting you peel back the curtain. Because they used to have, I think it was the Atlas recovery vehicle that was either like an authenticated like conversion GW had that was in a lot of stuff, or maybe an actual Forge robot at
It
one
was
point.
a model.
Yeah.
It was in the Deathcore Krieg list.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, cool. But like an Atlas recovery vehicle. That's awesome. Like in a normal,
Didn't do anything, but it was cool.
but that's the whole point. It's cool. In like a normal tank battalion, you've got a recovery vehicle whose job it is to, you know,
Grab tanks.
grab tanks out of the mud and all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah. And now we have,
I think the only thing it did on the tabletop was it repaired immobilized results.
yeah.
Oh Jesus! That whole thing.
Yeah, it just rolled up to tanks and had been
I've seen this before.
immobilized.
It's like a crane with a dozer blade.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
Lehman Russ upgrade kit basically.
Yeah, it's just a Lehman Russ chassis with a crane, like a crane and a fancy tow cable.
And
on
now
it.
good luck finding them.
Right. But now we also have the Venerable Cargo 8 is now a thing for GW officially. Makes me very happy. Makes all the Gaunt's Ghost fans very happy. But I think they're using the Ash Waste to kind of get those more civilian support vehicles in there.
Yeah.
And I say
Sure, they have
this,
heavy stubbers, but it's Necromunda. Everything's got a heavy
but
stubber.
even
Yeah.
like, you know,
Even a civilian
everyone has
vehicle
it.
have a
And
stubber at this
if you are deciding to convert it to like a military vehicle for like a special scenario or something, yeah, U.S. tank recovery tank. It's got a pintle mount for a 50 cal if you need it. You know,
Yeah.
you never know who might come
Well, and
walk up on.
Battlefleet Gothic was always good at that too. I mean, hell, there's entire scenarios that center around transports.
Yeah, like don't get your supply ships blown up.
And that was the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, they're all over it. And I really hope that because Heresy has kind of, I guess not leaned into it, right? But like they're representing it in like the books and the fluff and all of that and kind of saying, hey, this whole war is a logistics trip. That's what the Siege of Terror is, right? Will Dorn fully equipped holds the line. Dorn starts running out of bullets. Bad things start happening. You know,
Yeah.
the
There's
traitors
entire chapters
coming through the door.
of the books dedicated to Pert's logistics operations.
Right? Like traders are trying to bash the door down. Do they have enough stuff to do that quickly enough before other guys show up, cut off their supply train, and annihilate them? That's the crux of the heresy. So I'd really love it if they were like, hey, here's an upgrade kit for a Rhino, just like a Space Marine recovery vehicle. They've got to have them.
Yeah.
Like every freaking Space Marine vehicle,
They don't just leave them out there in the mud.
like even to 30K to a certain extent. You know, if it's not a Rhino or a Thunderhawk, it's essentially a relic, right? They want to use it again. It's important to them, like culturally.
Yeah.
They have a recovery vehicle. give me this Spartan with a recovery vehicle like mod.
Just a big flatbed trailer on the back.
Right?
Space Marine with a cap and a cut-off flannel shirt.
Exactly.
That's what they'll have, a Malcador recovery vehicle.
I'd love that. I'd honestly love that. Because there's so much cool stuff. Because once you start getting into things like that, or like maybe something for AT, like a Titan recovery vehicle.
Recovery vehicles.
Because you can do so many cool scenarios, like the BFG ones, around like logistical things, right? It's not just killing the other guy. Like in a war, killing the other guy is great.
But
what's
better, the other guy is better.
Yeah, what's better is blowing up all of his ammunition and food before you run into him.
Yeah. That being said, a little bit of devil's advocate here for games for like Horus Heresy, where it's just you and the other guy. The recovery vehicle doesn't seem like doesn't seem quite as effective when you're just doing 40, 50 models versus 40, 50 models type of thing.
But what if your scenario is, hey, you've got your recovery vehicle and, a relic, a dreadnought that's got somebody real fancy in it. The dreadnought's been knocked out. He's still in the sarcophagus. You need to hold, can you have the recovery vehicle drag him off the table while the other guy's trying to get you?
Like an enhanced recover the relic type of scenario. Okay, I got you.
And or plus, you're trying to ambush an enemy convoy and, they've got 3 fuel rhinos, right? Like that fuel rhino I did a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Blowing those up.
I need to get a picture of that fuel rhino because it was cool.
And you have so many people in certain heresy communities that shall remain nameless, are like, heresy's a historical game. These are historical scenarios.
Those nerds would buy a fuel rhino.
And then some.
And probably another one.
Yeah.
There you go, GW. I can commit you to 2 sold. I wouldn't buy one. I've converted my own already. But I can guarantee you at least 2 would sell.
Yeah. When you sent me this link, initially, this tooth to tail thing, I did kind of do some quick math in my head to figure out what the tail to a single tactical legionary might be. And I figured within a tactical squad is what I ended up having to do because I imagine the Legion assets are more or less supported at a company level.
Yeah. So it's like the full 20-man squad?
A full 10 20-man squads, or 10 squads of 10 to 20.
Okay.
Depending on your legion. So you have one tactical legionary, and he's got at least 2 arming serfs. He's got his bolter serf and his armor serf.
Yep.
Right? And then he's probably got a logistical serf that more or less serves as his voice to other more mundane bodies. Because, a lot of time he's down there killing aliens.
Yeah, the guy that's getting him enough nutrient paste for his armor, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like, brother, my lord so-and-so needs more oranges or whatever.
I got to get another loincloth. He's burned off yet another loincloth that he keeps wearing on the outside of his goddamn armor.
Yeah.
The guy buying his Oath of Moment paper.
Yeah, so you've got one tactical legionary with 3 serfs.
All right.
Anywhere between 10 to 20 legionaries per squad. So that's, 10 dudes to 30 dudes right there. Then you have your primary arming mages. And I'm thinking of I can't remember his name. Not Delvaris, but he's in the Night Lords trilogy. He's the Magos that replaced his face with a skull mask.
And now you've said Delvaris, and that's the only thing in my head. But yes.
Delvan or something like that. Yeah. It's really close.
We'll call it Delvan and roll with it.
Yeah. All right. And he's concerned primarily with kitting out the squad before they deploy. I'm thinking the armoring of a Space Marine video that Warcom just put out. You see at least one Magus there presiding over the whole thing. And you reckon he's got to do at least 1 squad a time. He's not going Marine. Mm-hmm. So he's got 20 to 40 arming servitors or serfs. Mm-hmm. And then under him is probably 2 to 3 apprentice magi, lesser magi, who are taking care of the servitors or making sure that blessings are said specifically over ammunition.
Getting the right ointments.
And each of those magi probably has at least 2 servitors under him.
Holding the unguents.
Yeah, holding everything. You have a squad pilot for a Thunderhawk, or perhaps a driver for a Rhino, or a
in Heresy, they're not...
Yeah,
they have specialists for that in the Heresy.
Yeah, Space Marines are expensive. You can't put them in cockpits,
or
except the dude sitting on top of the Spartan. Apparently,
well, some legions do take pride in doing it themselves.
That's true. Iron Hands, Iron Warriors,
Space Wolves do the same.
Yeah, stuff like that. Then
But
you
still, if
probably
that
have-
guy's driving a Rhino, he's not technically a combat infantryman. He's a support guy.
Yeah. So you have your pilot for doing whatever. He's either your driver, he's flying your Thunderhawk, whatever. Thinking of like Septimus, again from the Night Lords trilogy. He just flies a Thunderhawk. I mean,
He just flies the bomber.
yeah, he never sees their eyes when the hell comes down. And that pilot might have 1 to 2 servitor co-pilots, co-drivers, whatever, gunners, sighters. Then you probably have a motor pool, Magos, whose job it is to maintain the Thunderhawk, Rhino, Spartan, Land Raider. He's probably got at least 10 mechanics under him because he's got to maintain a vehicle for every squad, who conservatively might have 5 servitors each for rearming, repairing, switching out parts, running tests, etc. And then who knows how many motor serfs are running cables to and from things and putting ammo
Everything
in
charged
hoppers.
up. Yep.
Then you have Tech Marine Covenants, whose actual job it is to maintain and oversee that stuff for the legionaries. Like, hey, squad so-and-so, you're equipped with a heavy bolter. You got ammo for it? Do I need to check this out? Do I need to replace the whatever? That guy.
Yep. You got your Imperial Form 17G properly filled out.
Yeah, this guy. Your fuel requisition. So for every 1 legionary, there's anywhere between 3, 4, 44, 47, 49, 60, 70 guys. 75 guys
Per legionary.
per legionary.
I still think there's a lot there that
There's
we haven't even
definitely
touched.
way
That
more.
Administratum
And right,
and all
that's
that.
that's not even considering the guys that get the armor to him in the first place, the guys that are like making the food, the guys that are making like
Yeah. Well, at a certain point, I had to say, okay, well, how much of this stuff is servitors, and do servitors count?
and if servitors don't count, where are we at?
If servitors don't count, you're probably
A tenth of that,
probably
probably.
cut out 50 dudes just out of that list as servitors.
But then again, you've got all the people that maintain the servitors and are providing the servitors with their, monthly gruel ration and all sorts of stuff. So yeah,
The guy, the commissar who's making more servitors.
yeah. And it honestly makes me very interested to see if anybody at GW's done this math.
I guarantee you
'Cause
Andy
they-
Hoare's done it.
Right? Like, does Andy Hoare have just because presumably they have a book of secrets, right?
Right.
That all
The tome.
yeah, right. That the authors go to whenever they're writing something to make sure it's
The Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does this Bible have like a look, man? Here's the name of like that tertiary arming servitor. Like this is what they're called for like a legion in general.
Yeah.
And there's 60 of them, and that's what they do for a company of Marines. They just nothing but banquets, right?
Yeah.
This is the guy at the at the 6th Legion like mess hall.
But see, I
that just
figured-
keeps making those almost raw meats. He's got a good gig. He doesn't have to cook them. Just puts them on a hot plate, and out we go.
And I figured that this is probably for like one of the less, I'm going to say logistically intensive or labor intensive legions, guys
Yeah,
that
this is what the White Scars are doing.
White Scars, Space Wolves, guys who aren't necessarily taking an active role in doing a certain thing, like Iron Hands. Those Marines are probably taking the Rhinos looking after into their own hands to a certain degree. Probably a lot fewer servitors, a lot more Tech Marines and Tech Marine serfs.
Yeah, that's true.
Emperor's Children, those guys aren't doing anything themselves.
Also very true.
Their tail ratio has got to be just
Right? They've got a guy for polishing each individual piece of armor.
yeah.
What about the Ultramarines?
Ultramarines are probably have as far as legions go, probably have as close to equity as you can get, because they probably I would imagine a squad leader for Ultramarines takes a pretty active role in organizing his support personnel, even if it's only like a weekly meeting. Hey, this is what we need. This is what we're going through.
Can you imagine the fucking
PO 700 meeting
You're
with-
just you're a serf, and your job is to just like count bolter rounds. Like, all right, fuck, I got another weekly meeting with Sergeant Titus. It's
Yeah.
always a pain in my ass,
This could have been an email.
and he's doing it at 2:30 in the morning because the fucker only sleeps for 2 hours at night.
Yeah. This could have been an email.
Just
And then
send
there's
me a
always that,
servitor with a scroll attached.
there's
God,
always that one serf who responds to the email. Could we get a meeting about this? Maybe a Zoom call so that we can maybe discuss this in more detail. I'm a little lost on some. Let's circle back.
Right? Oh, God, circle back.
The Ultramarines have circle back serfs.
Whose only job is to circle back.
Yeah, it's to
Absolutely.
circle back and make sure that they got everything.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's honestly one of my, like, impossible nerd dreams is that we'll start, now that, you know, if Heresy is going to plastic, behold, right, plastic Spartan.
It's definitely not an if anymore.
Yeah, right. So
As Heresy goes.
Forge World presumably still doing something with their lives, Heresy related, besides just the odd special character. Like maybe we could see a little more of this kind of like back end boutique logistic-y stuff.
Yeah, can't wait for the Imperial Tax Service 17Q resin kit.
Look, if they made a Departamento Munitorum field manual, which I own,
It's the what's Forge World going to start putting out play sets like G.I. Joe did. Here's the Munitium office for
your Legion DD-214,
yeah.
which is really just the dreadnought.
Yeah.
The form you have to fill out when you become a dreadnought. No retirement in the Legions.
Yep. No,
I can't grasp this pen.
Well, thankfully, you've got your
yeah.
writing surf here.
Yeah, to even question what kind of tail support a dreadnought has.
Right? Your dictation surf.
You're everything.
Yeah. Ugh. So, yeah, just something to think about next time you're rolling dice is all the other people.
Yeah.
All the other imaginary people that you're not rolling dice for that brought you to the point where you could roll dice for those Space Marines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Count your serfs. Every one of them has a bolter requisition form. On a 3-up, everybody gets more bolt shells.
Just roll
Point
a check.
values for just your general support.
Yeah, take your logistics check.
Yeah, you
Roll,
could probably
take a
make
logistics check. Otherwise, sorry, you can't Fury the Legion this game. You don't have the ammunition for it.
Yep.
I mean, hey, we do have campaign rules that kind of support that.
Well, hell,
Some of these
War,
old black.
Only War literally had a logistics check.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about Only War, but like some of the campaigns, I can't remember off the top of my head, but like Victory's Vengeance, I think, had some sort of
Some
thing where
ammo mechanics where
Yeah.
you could. Yeah, you had the ammo
running
roll.
low. Yeah.
Yeah, and
you
if
could just
you
straight-
rolled a 1, boop, out of ammo. Sorry, buddy.
Sucks to suck.
Better pull out that combat knife.
But honestly, I like things like that. Like
That'd
that
be
makes it
cool.
more interesting because it does give just that little more like they're not doing exactly what I want, which God help me, realistically, right? Like sometimes people don't.
Yeah.
It'd be make for a fun campaign book.
Yeah, right. Just
Fun for who?
for
All
those,
right. Obviously
for
for
those
Austin,
of us
at
that
least.
want to play War for North Africa, that's who.
All right, strap in, guys. I'm going to warn you now, the first 300 pages can get a little dry.
Yeah, if you think I'm crazy, Google War for North Africa board game, and you'll realize that I'm actually not asking for all that much.
Just acknowledgement, really. Just acknowledgement that this stuff
I
happens.
think I've done this before, but
The War for North Africa, the most unplayable board game in the history of board games.
It has a 22-foot map. You have to calculate your water expenditure, and the Italians take extra water loss because they have to cook their pasta.
Yep, they cook pasta. The British do too because they use it to make tea.
Yep.
Yep.
it's a Kotaku article. So, but the notorious board game that takes 1,500 hours to complete.
And that's 1,500 hours with a full side of 5 people playing Axis.
Yeah,
and
that's
5
almost
playing
a
allies.
full time. That is literally almost a full time job.
It really is. And when I retire,
That's a Nova event right there.
no, it's not. You won't finish in time.
Legacy Nova.
That's like a couple
event.
years of Nova.
That's just how many Novas you go into in the rest of your life, you think? 50? That's 50 Novas.
with any luck.
You might make it in 50 Novas.
Yep. Hey, what happened to so and so? Oh, he
Playing
died. I'm
time.
his son.
Board Game Geek. Playing time. 60,000 minutes.
That's 1,000 hours.
And I can't
That's
stress
10,000 hours.
I can't stress enough that is with the full complement of 8 to 10 players.
Oh my God.
Because like somebody's in charge of the air assets for the whole North Africa campaign, and you got to assign each pilot to each plane and make sure that they have all the food and ammunition. It's madness. It's absolute madness. So I don't want that for 30K.
Not
Andy
yet.
Hoare, if you're hearing me, for God's sake, not that.
No, this is
All I want
like
is a couple recovery vehicles.
See, it starts as recovery vehicles, but what this is the
This is gateway logistics.
it's gateway logistics. You know how Slaneshi Marines need increasingly more and more like excessive and insane sensations
So much tail.
to even register
They
in
just
their
need
brains.
so much tail.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen to you.
Jesse sees what I did there.
That's what's going to happen to you. You're going to be like, oh, I have recovery vehicles. But what if I had a operational manual
So
for recovery vehicle?
what I'm hearing is we have enough people.
Don't even.
The trick will be getting people to
I
do
can't get you
regularly.
nerds together for Twilight Imperium, let alone.
That's the way
That'll
God
be
intended.
the podcast for 2023, as we just work our way
Twilight
through
Imperium.
the Desert War 1940-43, the campaign for North
Campaign
Africa.
for North Africa podcast. And I bet we would get tens of viewers
Man,
total.
So these guys, I was going to say 2 words, but wow has apparently been taken. The other was why.
Lord.
It's true.
Well,
Yeah, so that was my. I told you I'd go off the rails with this.
so really what you're hoping for is that eventually down the line, after every major theater and even some of the more obscure ones have been covered, we'll get the campaign for Terra M31 board game.
So when inevitably Epic shows up
Yes.
and Battlefleet Heresy is a thing, I want all of it. I want all of it. I want to be able to bring my logistic supplies
flying real close to the sun.
from a planet, escort the transports to the war zone, get them down, have my little epic recovery tanks running around, pulling land raiders out of the mud.
Then you'll have 5 players per each side playing the Masters of the Legion.
We need about a 22-foot map to make it happen, but yeah.
Just play Vrax. Just play Vrax. All of those things exist for Vrax and for Taros.
And yet, here I am
Not
in the 31st millennium wanting to do it with Space Marines.
Some people are never happy. Some people complain that we're getting plastic beakies and that beakies aren't historically accurate. Austin's over here complaining that he doesn't have the level of granular detail
He doesn't have his Spartan tow truck.
that his horrible little goblin brain demands.
How much energy does a Space Marine squad require, and do Space Wolves give a discount because they don't have to cook their meat? That's all I want to know.
That Jason has already answered that question. I bet if you go far enough back into
No,
the
not the
grad school-
kilocalorie count. I mean, how many watts of energy does it take to power a Space Marine squad? They're all running off those fusion backpacks. You don't know.
What does an aneurysm feel like?
You're going to find out here in a second.
Oh, boy.
Now seems like a great time to mention our patrons.
Yeah.
Congratulations. This is your fault, listeners.
Once again, thanks again for listening to an episode of the Remembrancers Retreat. If you like us, go over to Facebook at RR30K Podcast, Instagram at RR30K Podcast. If you'd like to support us, go over to patreon.com/RR30K Podcast.
Woo!
Yay.
And I'd like to thank all of our patrons, starting with our Legion Praetors, Alex Self, Chaplanisar, Chris Mack, Gardner Tree of Woe, Joe from Music City Heresy, Luke Rizzuto, Matthew Boyce, Michael Tisdale, Mr. Balwick, Nick Quenga, Rena the Floof, Sar Luther, Taco Tuesday or Bus 22, Rock and Roll McDonald's, and What's Ligma. Our Legion Centurions, Aaron Maynard, Andrew N., Dave Jones, Duncan, Ed, M. Tanzer, Gore Crow, Nick Hilda, Richard Bork, Scott LeMay, and Void Imperatrix. Our Legion Sergeants, Agrippina, Aircraft Terrier, Emily O'Hare, Garrett Lowe, Jay DeSales, Jay Grammaticus, Jonathan Crane, Carl, Nick Gillen, Noah Atkins, and the Zoe. Once again, thank you all for listening. We greatly appreciate your patronage.
Especially you, Taco Tuesday or Bus 22, Rock and Roll McDonald's.
Yeah.
You're my favorite. Just my personal favorite. I don't know about the other guys. I'm sure they all love you equally, but for me,
Steven loves you all equally, just some more equally than others.
If you've played a game of the campaign for North Africa, let us know, because good God.
But if you've played a turn of Campaign for North Africa, if you sat down in the game meeting, got through the first 6 hours,
Game
and then
meeting!
quit, right? It's like a friggin' D&D campaign, right? You have to have
No.
the pre-game meeting.
Well, I mean, yeah, the session 0, but God.
man, how much is it? Because we're looking at it's right here. It should have a cost.
I'm going to guess it's out of print, Stephen.
It is out of print. For some reason, they didn't sell a whole lot of them.
Well, so I know where you can get a copy though. I've seen it with my hand, with my flesh hands.
Where?
Oh, Jesus.
When I was in not Seattle, but a suburb of Seattle. Everett.
Stephen, if you ever see this and it's less than $100, you get it. You get it on the assumption that I'll just pay whatever it is.
There's There was a board game cafe. Like you go in, you get a table.
Why in God's name would a board game cafe have this game?
They had all kinds of stuff.
But like
They actually had.
They probably didn't know what they had.
right? Like who?
No, they knew because they had tons of games like that.
Ah.
Yeah, like the boxes are
But
all
who could
old and
play
bleached.
it?
They had the original Blood Bowl on those shelves. They had RPGs, stuff like that. Blood Bowl, these old military sims. But I distinctly remember seeing the campaign for North Africa.
Well, if you can
on the
find
shelf.
it, I have no idea what it would like run for. But if
Maybe
you can
there
find
was
it
a second edition
for less than $100. And if it's more than $100, you let me know. I'll see what I'm like. Because again, this is not something I would ever actually play, but it seems like a fun thing to say you owned.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was made by a company called Simulations Publications Incorporated.
So you're taking paternity leave for 4 months. How many hours is in 4 months?
Why in God's name are you asking me that question? You know I'm terrible at math. All right, well,
I'm just saying, if you got it before you went on paternity leave,
if you can get it,
then you and
this
your
week-
wife could play it, and your newborn son could learn the respectable art of logistics.
theoretically, if I didn't sleep at all, it's approximately 2,880 hours.
So
However-
you just be barely skirting by.
like you count a full-time job in America counts as 2,000 hours, I want to say.
A year?
Yeah.
yeah, but he's
That's
on
how you
paternity
calculate salary. It's like multiply by 2,000.
All right.
leave. But he's on paternity leave. He doesn't have to work.
Well, yeah, but presumably I have to, take care of
Your
my
son.
newborn child at some point.
Grocery store run. What the hell is that?
DoorDash. DoorDash all the time.
I got
Yeah,
it outflanked.
So
Now's the time to strike in 30 hours.
a year and 4 months as a full-time job.
Holy hell.
A year and 4 months. That's a year and 4 months worth of podcast material.
Honestly, yes.
The Remembrancers Retreat plays the campaign for North Africa.
That's what I'm saying.
Coming soon to a Patreon near you.
And I will say, if I ever came across that game, I would find like 4 of you and make you sit through like a turn.
Yeah.
Is it 5 people for the whole game?
So-
or is
no,
it
no, no.
5
So
people
theoretically-
per side.
Per side.
Theoretically, you want to do it with 5 people per side because there's like the overall commander, and then there's like the air commander, like the
Yeah.
army commander, the navy commander, the
You're
logistics
playing
guy.
all the branches.
Yeah.
My God.
So like you can do it one-on-one. You just then have that much more work to do.
Frontline commander.
Commander-in-chief, logistics, rear area commander, air commander, front comm commander.
Wow. Playing time with 10 players listed at 1,200 hours.
Yeah. So that's the speed run is 1,200 hours.
Yeah, that's everybody knows what they're doing. They got it dialed in.
If you've got a retired Army general staff handy,
Yeah.
they can get it done at 1,200 hours. Well, and an Air Force chief of staff, because, there's an air war going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, yeah. God.
How much time do we have left, Jesse?
As much time as you guys want.
Great. Who's the scariest legion?
Scariest.
Define scariest.
When are we talking about? Are we talking Great Crusade or Heresy? And
We'll
then
say Great Crusade.
Great
Not
Crusade.
Crusade. Not Great Crusade. Heresy. The actual heresy.
the actual
Once
Heresy.
it kicks off and stuff starts going crazy.
So like day 1 of Heresy, who's the scariest? Because it's a different question.
Say
right?
halfway through the heresy.
Mid-Heresy.
Halfway through the heresy, you're a mortal soldier on either side, and your commander has just told you, congratulations, son, the X Legion is coming. Who's going to scare you the most?
Like are they coming? Like I'm in the trenches, they're coming at my lines?
They're
or
coming
they're
to
just,
take your planet from you.
or you hear they're coming into orbit.
You're at your position, and you know that within a certain number of hours, you'll make contact.
Okay.
I feel like any of them, to be honest.
I mean, sure, any of them are scary, but some of them are scarier than others.
Because it is
I
different.
guess.
Because in general, my answer would probably be Night Lords. But if you know, so like if
Seems
it's
too
already,
simple an answer.
well, that's the thing. If it was,
Yeah.
hey,
My answer's not Night Lords.
there's going to be Night Lords showing up over your planet at some point, they'd win. But if it's,
Yeah.
I'm in and I'm actually going to be fighting somebody, not fuck around psychological games, it's not the Night Lords.
I mean, presumably, by the time that you're at your position, maybe you're, and you have advanced warning that the Legion's coming.
Yeah.
You don't know how fast it's going to be till they get there. all you know is they're coming. Because presumably you're not high enough up on the chain to know those numbers. But you got your gun, your grenades, you think you're ready. But I'll tell you who's the scariest, for me. It's Emperor's Children. And I'll tell you why it's not the Night Lords.
No, you're right. Because once the Night Lords are actually in the fight, they're not really any different than most Legion. Like, all their extra scary shit comes either
before.
after the fighting or
It's
before
the
the fighting.
psyops.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I am a soldier and I know the Night Lords are coming, and I know a thing or two about the Great Crusade, or what happened at Thramis, or wherever, like, okay, the Night Lords are coming, they're gonna torture me, and then they're gonna kill me. But the worst thing they're gonna do is torture me, then kill me. The Emperor's Children, though, getting tortured is just like step one.
Yeah, they're doing it for their own enjoyment.
Yeah, they're not doing it to prove any sort of point. And the Night Lords are doing it for their enjoyment too, but they're not doing it into the service. They're not doing it in the service of a god of torture. They're going to turn your tears into wine. They're going to like cannibalize your family in front of you and then probably make you eat some.
Yeah.
It's going to be real bad times. The worst times, potentially.
Have some baby chili.
Yeah. Yep. Emperor's Children, scariest Legion.
So
Yeah, that would be kind of rough.
I'm gonna disagree. And I want you to know that I've been like seriously thinking about this the whole 2 minutes
I
since you
swear to
back.
God, if you say Space Wolves.
No. So I can't figure out which. It is either the Sons of Horus or the Space Wolves. And my reasoning behind this is we're mid-heresy. Anything that happens during the heresy, at me as a guardsman, as like a militiaman on a planet, I've either not heard about or think it's rumors, right? All I'm basing it on is what these legions were like during the Great Crusade.
Sure.
And the two with the scariest Great Crusade combat reps, right? Like, because I disagree with the Night Lords for the same reason you do, are the Sons of Horus, because they're going to fucking go for the throat and win, right?
But if you're not the throat, you don't have anything to worry about.
Unless, I mean, and that's why I'm facilitating, right? Or it's the Space Wolves who have a horrific reputation for like just fuckery,
Just going
straight through. I would discount the World Eaters because they also have a reputation for going off the handle. So if I'm fighting the World Eaters, I might be able to talk myself into saying, "Hey, we know the World Eaters sometimes do dumb shit, and we might be able to pull this out."
Yeah.
So like that, they don't quite make it for me. And the other guys, like, the Iron Warriors, Ultramarines, Imperial Fists,
Nothing scary
Emperor's
about
Children.
them. Nothing inherently scary.
Yeah, like there's nothing inherently scary that I know of. You're right.
They may even let you surrender.
Emperor's Children, omnisciently might be the worst, right? Because they'll eat us and sew our flesh into their clothing. And if we're very lucky, it'll happen in that order.
Borderline Reavers at this point.
Yeah.
But Reavers who really take
to
pleasure
the far
in
side of that line, no.
Yeah.
Not on the Borderline Reaver. Borderline Reaver, the other side.
They've gone past it.
The kinky Reavers.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Why is that one wearing so
like,
much leather?
That's why, because you're right. Like, the Sons of Horus have that rep of just, you're going to lose and it's going to suck. But they do have they like to chop the head off and kind of let the parts go sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, maybe everybody's fucking dead.
Everyone dies.
Everyone's fucking dead. And they look like goddamn
Vikings.
Yes.
Never even heard, I don't even
Not
know,
that-
what, know what a Viking is, but boy, those guys look scary.
Don't tell anybody, but I was about to say werewolves.
I won't tell anyone. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
if
so
That being said,
if I only knew stuff about the legions based on what I'd known during the Great Crusade, I would say probably Space Wolves, because you know who the Sons of Horus don't have in a huge abundance? Discipline officers.
It's true. Because like Dark Angels also would be high on the list, but nobody knows what the fuck they've been up to.
right.
So like you can,
You might get
where
an
you at? Where you at,
Excendio
Jesse?
unleashed on you, but you don't know what it is. There's no reason to fear that.
yeah, right?
Yet.
Sentient goddamn robot.
Part of me is just kind of contemplating how scary the Thousand Suns would be.
Oh yeah, a whole witch
Knowing that
legion.
they're fucking witches
Yeah.
and magic and shit that shouldn't even be around.
Yeah, imagine
Yeah.
being brought up in the Imperial Truth and then Hey, why is that guy shooting lightning out of his eyeballs?
Yeah, and you would know they do that. Like,
Yeah.
and then if they're coming for you, you know they're not gonna have like Edict of Nicaea. You know that's out the window.
Yep.
Fuck, you're right. I didn't even think of that.
Thousand Sons. Yep. Everyone thinks Thousand Sons are dorks until it's time to be scary.
Everyone thinks you're a dork until you bring a pet demon to the fight.
Yeah. What's that thing on that guy's shoulder?
Yeah.
Tutelary, don't worry about it.
Why is it like
They're
a-
super chill.
Why does it look like a monkey with wings and a skull for a face? I hate this. On the same vein as scary abominations, Valdor and others have been shown to, internally at least, express that the Primarch project was a mistake, and that the Primarchs and the Space Marines should have been abandoned on the table. Could the Emperor have conquered the galaxy without the legions?
So we're talking humans and custodes only?
Trillions of humans, Mechanicum robots, custodians, the
Not
Navy.
Mechanicum robots. At first, anyway. You'd have to take Mars with just people.
Well, presumably you didn't. Presumably, Mars has fallen into
Okay. So you get
into
Mars.
line. Yeah,
All right.
because you can't have the Crusade at all without Mars.
True. All right.
So yeah, presumably Mars is.
So you get the solar system gratis, and then can you do it from there without the Marines?
Yeah, are you going to try and do it without Marines?
Let that one.
Thoughts?
We'll think of on that one for the week, and
Let it percolate. Yeah, bubble. Just dwell in the mind.
yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for listening to the Remembrancers Retreat. Until next time, keep those dice rolling.
Bye.
See you later.